Hello, everybody, and welcome to It's Real to Us, the wrestling show. My name is Anthony DeMarc.
And I am Tony the Father.
Today we are talking about one thing and one thing only. Seth freaking Rollins is out of the vision. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Well, maybe with the exception of the Father, who predicted that this would happen, albeit at Crown Jewel, not at the Raw after Crown Jewel. So, Tony, first things first, congratulations on getting that prediction right.
Thank you. I called it that Seth was going to be out of the vision, and I have my reasons why. But so far, I'm right on the ball with it.
Well, let's talk about the reasons why. In my opinion, Seth Rollins and the Vision has been the biggest storyline in WWE for the last 6 months. And it feels as if WWE is pivoting and deciding to throw away that story on a moment's notice.
You made a great point. The Vision and Seth Rollins has been their biggest storyline. What else is their biggest loser? Their ratings. The money the TKO is making, their ratings have suffered dramatically. Every night, Monday Night Raw, the last 6 weeks, the ratings are less and less. SmackDown, they just had their worst ratings in the history of SmackDown 2 weeks ago. So you made the point that Seth Rollins and the Vision are what? They are the headliners.
Yeah.
And if your ratings are going bad, your ESPN, the first pay-per-view they had, what did ESPN do?
They gave him a C.
They gave him a bad rating. Who was involved in that?
I mean, Seth Rollins was one of many people involved of it.
But he was.
It sounds like you're saying Seth is to blame for the bad ratings.
No, Seth is not to blame. Seth is being blamed. He is the lightning rod. They're shaking this up because I guarantee they got calls from advertisers like Slim Jim. Hey, we're under contract for another year. Your ratings are going down week after week. If this continues, we're out. That's all it takes with TKO. You got to remember, they're all about the money at the end of the day. It ain't about the fans. It ain't about the wrestlers. It's about the money. So when they get those phone calls, they sit down in their corporate meeting and they have a meeting. What are we going to do? And you know what? We're going to have shock factor.
So you think WWE decided to throw away 6 months worth of storytelling for a shock factor moment, so that way, wrestling fans like us will be talking about it and will be tuning into Monday Night Raw. Doesn't that seem like a short-term solution for an otherwise bigger problem?
Not when you're talking about stockholders and money. It's not. And we're talking not 1 or 2 weeks. The last 7 weeks, their ratings are less and less. So they gave it time. It's not working. What are we going to do? Wait another 6 or 7 weeks?
Now, what about Seth Rollins being hurt? Because there are reports coming out of Crown Jewel that Seth Rollins injured his shoulder, and maybe that's the reason why this breakup was expedited. A lot of people assume that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed would break up eventually, maybe in a year. Maybe Seth Rollins just got hurt, and now WWE has no choice but to pivot and kick Rollins out of the group sooner than later.
Is it possible he's hurt? Sure. And if he does have an injury of that catastrophic, what kind of injury did you say it was?
They said it was a shoulder/rotator cuff injury.
NFL football players, do they get hurt a lot more than wrestlers?
All the time. My fantasy football team has been destroyed by injuries.
Right. Who got hurt this week?
Emeka Ibuka.
Okay, he played on when? Sunday?
Yes.
And today's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday.
Do we know the extent of his injury?
It's a hamstring, but they don't know the severity.
It could be out a week. It could be out 2 months.
Correct.
So what makes you think they know Seth Rollins fights on a Saturday and on Monday, 2 days later, they know it's the severity, he's going to be gone for a year? Kid you not. Riddle me this, Batman. They don't. Nobody does. They have better doctors than the NFL does?
No, but what if it's a perfect storm of Seth Rollins is hurt, we need a creative juice, and maybe it's everything happening all at once, so they're hitting the button and saying, okay, Seth, you're out.
You make an excellent point. We're going to go with the story that Seth Rollins is hurt, but he's not. Because we need a shot in the arm. We need to shake things up. It's not working with Seth Rollins ahead of the division, because if it was, our ratings wouldn't be suffering every week. So maybe they said, okay, you know what? Let's get Seth Rollins hurt. We don't know which way they're going to go with Seth Rollins, but I can guarantee he's not hurt, even if they say he's hurt.
So you're saying he's not hurt, kind of like what happened at Saturday Night Main Event a handful of months ago. Seth Rollins gets hurt against LA Knight. He's out for an extended period of time. All of a sudden, he comes back and nothing has changed. He's still the leader of the Vision and he wins the world title. So in this situation, Seth Rollins isn't hurt. Is he coming back and is he going to get back with the Vision? Is this all a ruse, maybe to trick CM Punk,
No.
the now #1 contender?
Seth is going to be out of the division. That's correct. He's not coming back. This is not make-believe. We're going to say he's hurt, then he's going to show up. They don't need to do that. It's idiotic. Because if Seth was going to fight CM Punk or whoever, he's got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in his back.
Why be coy?
Yeah, it's dumb. That's idiotic. It's not happening. He is out of the division. That is something that is definitely an official thing here. It's just a question of how they're going to go about doing this. I don't think it's a legitimate injury. I don't think he's hurt at all.
Maybe, well, like I said, maybe it's not a severe injury, but maybe the injury factored in with their low ratings is enough for them to pivot in this situation.
No, well, see, what I think they haven't decided what they're going to do with Seth Rollins yet. Do we write him off and say he's hurt? Or do we just pull him out of the division? He's still a heavyweight champ, and let's maybe reinvent him with new guys, and maybe we'll clash this way with the division.
I think he has to be off television for an extended period of time because you have to sell the attack that the Vision hit on Seth Rollins. If he comes back next week, it feels like we're skipping layers of this story almost. It's like on 1 week this month they're together, the next week they're fighting each other. It just feels too much too soon, in my opinion. And then
like I said, I don't know what their plans are with Seth going forward, whether they're going to say he's hurt or not. But I know for a fact he's not going to be back in the division. That's it for him. He's out.
I agree with you, and I think that he will be away for an extended period of time. And my mind goes to, well, if Seth Rollins is all of a sudden off television for an extended period of time, whether the injury is legitimate or not, we have to think about all of the major matches he was going to be involved in. Seth Rollins was going to defend the world title against CM Punk at some point. What happens with the World Heavyweight Championship if Rollins isn't on television? Does that get vacated? Does Braun Breaker be anointed as the world champion?
No. If they're going to say that he's hurt, he's got to vacate. If he's not going to vacate and they say he's not hurt, he's going to stay the heavyweight champ. But what are they going to do with him? What I think is going to happen is he's not going to be hurt yet. He's going to go into a match versus Braun Breaker because that's the guy he wants right now after what happened. And he loses the title to Braun Breaker. And at that moment, they say he gets hurt. And then he goes away. That's what I think could happen.
See, whether or not Seth is hurt right now, I think is irrelevant. I think they're going to say he's hurt from a storyline point of view, and then he will vacate the title. Just because maybe what you're saying, he's a lightning rod, he's the scapegoat, ratings are bad, we're going to take the title off you, Seth, and we're going to just try something else. So maybe that's a possibility.
That's a possibility that they do something like that, absolutely. But it's also a possibility they go the other way, and they want to keep him active and around.
I don't see it. I just, why take the title off of him? Why break the group up if you're going to have him as a babyface the next week?
Well, he didn't lose the title yet.
I feel as if he's losing that title sooner than later.
Well, you know what? Maybe you got to remember too with TKO. Think about UFC. They don't want superstars. I've been saying this for a long time. Think about your UFC where it used to be, where it is now. You got a bunch of wrestlers that can fight. They're all basically the same, right? One night you can have this guy fight that guy, this guy fight. So that's what I think they're going to try to do. That's why you're seeing the Stephanie Vicares of the world, the Roxanne Perez's.
I hope not. That is not the model that
they're
you should build WWE
elevating the younger
around.
wrestlers, and they're trying to mediate it. That's why you're not going to see these superstar Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Gunther down the road. They're going to get phased out. This is my thought. I'm not saying Seth Rollins is getting kicked out. I'm not saying they're phasing him out right now. But what I'm saying is everybody is replaceable in their eyes. There is no king. We don't need a guy ahead of the faction. We tried Seth Rollins. The ratings stink. The pay events are no good. Okay, Seth, you're gone. Let's try another guy. That's what I think they're going to do. Now, is Braun Breaker going to be elevated to the head of Vision? Or are we going to bring in a guy like Brock Lesnar or somebody else that'll team up with them? That's the thing we don't know. That's how we have to see it. But I'm telling you, because of the ratings and because of things with dipping, overall sentiment online with wrestling has been down. A lot of bad comments. Triple H reads that. They're going in a different direction because they're just, it's simple as that. You got guys sitting around a table. It's not working. Let's fix it.
It does feel like it's one of two things. It's what you're alluding to, Triple H reading a lot of negativity online, hitting the big panic button of like, we gotta get a shock, cheap pop value. Or what I think is the case, Seth Rollins is legitimately hurt, and this forced WWE's hand, and they had to expedite their storylines going forward. But the big concern for me now is Seth Rollins was a major player. We mentioned he was going to fight CM Punk for the world title at some point. He was also scheduled, these are all rumors, but a lot of us saw this coming. Seth Rollins leading the Vision into War Games. And then we were going to get a big WrestleMania match at some point, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So to me, with Rollins being out of the Vision, that kills all of those plans moving forward. So is WWE going to be coming up with new storylines on the fly because of this one decision they made?
They do a lot on the fly now. There's not a lot of long-term storytelling, I think.
There's tons. They kick the can. We talk about it all the time.
It just revisits. It's like with Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree. We're going like this with it. Why? Because AJ Lee's not ready to wrestle. Simple as that. And everything just goes back like this, back like this. So is it possible that Seth Rollins is legitimately hurt? Like the Mark says.
I think so.
Absolutely. This is my take. He's not hurt. Is it possible Seth Rollins is going to be on one side of War Games, Paul Heyman and his guys are going to be on the other side of War Games?
That would be just too quick. Going back to a point that I said, we're rushing these storylines.
But what would get ratings higher?
That's what it comes down to.
Would that get the ratings high? We want to see Seth Rollins now verse these guys with his new group, or we have Seth Rollins with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and the ratings are dipping. That's what I'm saying. I think they're looking for a shock factor. Monday Night Raw's ratings because of this are going to go like that. They're going to go out the roof. That's my point.
But it's going to be a quick spike. They're not going to be able to sustain it unless they have something ready to go.
Brock Lesnar moves in.
Is Brock going to take over? Will they bring in an Austin Theory? Will they just have a whole group of young guys?
Maybe Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are going to hug it out and be on one side with Brock Lesnar. And the other guys, maybe John Cena will be on this side. Who knows what they're going to do? But what I'm saying, whatever they do, their ratings are going to go like this compared to what it's been going like this. That's my point.
So there's a couple of ways to look at this from like an overall point of view. One, in my opinion, is a positive way of, wow, wrestling is now so unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen week in, week out. And then another point that I dislike is I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan. If he's if he's not hurt, if he's hurt, then it's okay. There's nothing they can do. They're just pivoting with the information that they're given in front of them. But if he's not hurt, that is such a low blow to arguably one of the pillars of WWE over the last 10 years. The disrespect of casting him aside from the group that he created. And as the world heavyweight champion, they're pointing the fingers. Ratings are bad. Okay, we're going to just take you off television. I just don't see it, Tony.
Okay, you don't get it yet because you don't understand it like a lot of people don't get it about big corporate. I'm looking at it from a corporation point of view with money. Okay, you just made a point. Would they be that disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
Karrion Kross and Carlito, what happened to them?
Karrion Kross and Carlito are not the superstar that Seth Rollins is. Seth Rollins is a WrestleMania.
They didn't even get a mention. What they did to R-Truth. Remember, he wrestled one night, and then the next night they let him go? Everybody bought him back because they were pissed off, and they bought him back. This is what I'm saying. Most people don't understand about big corporations. They don't care. They care about their bottom line and their money and their stockholders and their advertisers. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. And they don't care about these guys that are watching us. And they don't care about their workers either. 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, corporate headquarters, some people just were going home to be with their families. Okay, here you go. You're fired. That's how it works. They don't care.
That's Tony the Father's point of view. You've heard my point of view. What's your point of view? Share it below in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you're following It's Real to us across all of our social media platforms. Until next time, I'm Anthony the Mark.
And I am Tony the Father. And I can guarantee Monday Night Raw, you're all going to be watching, and the ratings are going to go like this.
Guarantee!